Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting for Bedford Township for December 20th, 2022. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, if Pastor Med Barr with Compelled Church could open us in prayer, we'd appreciate it.
So you can bow our heads with us. Father, thank you, Lord, for this opportunity, Lord, to come together as a community, as these folks, these good people on our board, Lord. Just let's give them wisdom. Father, your word says in Colossians, Lord, to be wise in how we treat others, to make the most of every opportunity. And I know that everyone here on this board tries to do that, Lord. And just give them wisdom, Lord. Use discernment, Lord, as you know, we all come from different places and different viewpoints, and so Lord, and we're going to have some disagreements, and that's fine, Lord, but just help us to do it honorably, exercise wisdom, Lord. So again, your word says, be wise in how you treat others, make the most of every opportunity. May our conversations be full of grace, and Lord, seasoned with salt. And so we just ask you, Lord, to bless this evening, bless all these members of the community, the members of this board, and they all have one goal in mind, is to unify our community. And so we just ask you to bless this evening. Favor on them, Father. In the great name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay. Up next is approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda is submitted.
Support. Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Bruning. Discussion? Seeing none, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, and the motion passed 7-0. Item 3, the consent agenda. The agenda committee recommends to approve and place on file A, minutes of the December 6, 2022 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board. B, minutes of the December 6, 2022 closed session meeting of the Bedford Township Board. C, general, savings, pooled funds and CD reports from the treasurer for November 2022. D, revenue, expense report and balance sheet for the period ending November 30th, 2022. Look for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported. Mr. Bruning, any more discussion? Seeing none, could you call the roll?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Up next is presentations from the Monroe County Sheriff's Department.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for having us once again. I got just a few things, five different topics. First, stats. For the month of November, we handled 484 complaints, 61 supplements, 177 assists, 19 arrests, 32 warrant requests sent to the prosecutor. Made 224 traffic stops, policed 36 crashes, and issued 47 citations. I guess in the past I did talk to you about how we are going to eventually change the way we construct our report and deliver it to you as well as all of the townships. And that time is quickly coming. I think by March we have a mandate. Our system that we currently use, we call it Stat Tracker, it tracks our stats, is no longer going to be supported by IT, and it has something to do with our lean joke, and probably understand that. So we're going to be going to a new system. I don't know exactly what the report's going to look like. We do have a new report writing system that has compiled the data, and unfortunately I'm just not in the know, or I'm not in the design as to how this is going to look or what the stats that will spit out from the police reports that we do. So that is coming. I just wanted to let you know. I don't know when, but it's probably by March, I would think. Number two, I don't know if you received or if you have all received, but the Finance Department within the last month put out a projected sample invoice, quarterly invoice, and I'm kind of happy to report that it looks like Bedford Township is roughly or projected going to save about $80,000 So I don't know if you guys had received that report.
I did.
Did you? Okay.
Not a report, but a phone call.
Or okay. Well, so you did not receive the sample invoice?
Not yet, no.
Okay, then I will go ahead and
The
email it to you
finance
tomorrow
director
morning.
might have.
Yeah, the finance
Right.
director might, but I personally haven't.
Okay, all right.
But we talked about it.
All right, so I will forward that to you all just so you have it in case you want to look at it. But that is some good news for the township. Beginning January 15th, we are going to have our shift bids take place for 2023. So you're going to have some new faces down here, and the shift bids will last a year. So I just wanted to report that. Statistics 24 and the state line. So that is coming to a close. I expect after the first of the year to make a presentation to the prosecutor's office on certain areas, certain, I guess, hot spots, if you will. And like I said, we did go back a total of 3 years. So it'll be 2022, 21, and 2020. And it's going to be completely up to the prosecutor's office. But I wish he was here. Josh Modelinski is one of our detectives. He's been assigned to that job. And eventually maybe I'll bring him up here and introduce him to you if you haven't met him yet. But he's put a lot of work into that project. And so like I said, shortly after we compile the December stats, we'll make some kind of presentation to the prosecutors. I don't know what kind of timeline that'll be. That's going to be his job to make a determination as to what he's going to do, but that'll be in his court soon.
Nice.
And finally, I just want to report, every year we're awarded grant money from the state, the Office of Safety, Highway, and Planning, and we've already started conducting patrols for seatbelt and OWI. Moving forward, I know on the 22nd and the 29th and 30th are planned enforcement zones in the township. So just as a friendly reminder, it'll be in the evening hours, usually from 6 to midnight or 7 to 1 in the morning, I believe. So other than that, that's all I have. If you have any questions?
If you just want to report, we weren't able to add the radar gun to the agenda. Troy asked me to add a radar gun to the agenda, but the agenda was already put together.
Okay.
And I don't like to add anything last minute. I mean, it's in the contract for us to purchase radar guns. One of them went bad, so we're borrowing one from you guys right now.
Okay. All right. Actually, I wasn't aware of that, to be honest
Okay,
with you.
I thought he updated you.
Threw me
that.
for a loop.
But so we're actually meeting with him on
Okay.
a number of the contract items, Trudy and Krista and I,
Yep.
to go over, and that'll probably be one
Yeah,
of
I
them.
know he started working on that today, so I don't know if he reached back out to you today
He
or not.
did.
Okay.
So.
And I apologize if we got the stats in late to you. Sorry, Nancy. We'll do better.
She's only hard on me if I get him in late. No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate you being here.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a nice Christmas, Polly.
Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hear
That's
that?
right. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays to include everybody.
Okay, public comment. Comments limited to 5 minutes for board agenda items only. And just state what item you're speaking on.
Good evening, Logan Tisdale, 1308 Brandywine Street, Temperance, Michigan. This is in regards to 4A. If you look at the report, 88 hours on patrol, 1 traffic ticket. 78.5 hours on patrol, 1 traffic ticket. 54.25 hours on patrol, 3 tickets. 71.25 hours on patrol, 3 tickets. Total 8 tickets, 292 hours on patrol. That means it took them 36.5 hours to write 1 traffic ticket. That's 3 12-hour shifts without taking 1 complaint and writing 1 traffic ticket. One guy went 95 hours on patrol, wrote 25 tickets. Out of all the tickets he wrote, he wrote almost half of what they wrote. They wrote 57 for the month. They had 41 accidents. In the last 2 months, from October to November, we've had 95 traffic accidents. I know I'm beating a dead drum up here, but I'm going to continue to beat it. The day afterwards, on the 16th, I was driving on Secor Road going southbound, went from 4-lane to 2-lane as you're coming up to Stearns. I'm about 10 car lanes from the light. The light turns yellow. I slow down. A guy that's 2 car lanes behind me in a passing lane, he decides he's not going to stop. What does he do? He blows the red light. 2 weeks later, I'm on, I think it was Smith Road. There was a garbage truck there. I'm about the third car from the garbage truck. And I think it's one of those ones that are automated where they just pick up the garbage truck. There's no attendant working there. But nobody knows that. There's no way of knowing that. And double yellow line, doesn't matter whether it's double yellow, as long as it's yellow on your side, solid yellow, no passing. But it's double yellow, so there's no passing east and west. And we're going westbound. Car in front of me, was about 2 car lanes from the 2 cars from the garbage truck. He decides he's going to pass. He can't see. There's no way you can see. And he passes anyway. Guy behind me, he's 4 car lanes now. He passes. He goes all the way in the no passing zone for probably 0.2 of a mile. It's this kind of stuff that irritates me, because if I can see that, why aren't they seeing that? And I realize that you can't be 100 places at one time, but it's the idea that Bedford Township. It seems to me, I've been living here now since '82. It seems to me that Bedford Township has this mentality that you can drive any way you want in Bedford Township and get away with it. And to me, that's, there's some areas I drive, I know that if I go over the speed limit and there's a police officer, I'm going to get stopped and probably get a ticket. And I don't say we should be out there writing everybody a ticket and stuff, but we also ought to be out there doing a lot more enforcement than riding around for 3 12-hour shifts and writing one lousy traffic ticket. That's ridiculous. We're paying big money for these people. I went out there, I was a police officer on a job before many people on this board were born, and I know what you can do out here. And the state police, I work for, obviously, I work for the state police. We weren't, a highway patrol. We went and investigated accidents. But when you went out investigating accidents, you were out there doing traffic enforcement. And the reason you do that is to make the public safe. I don't want to be a victim out there. The last thing I wanted to do is die on a highway. There's no glory in going out there and getting injured on a highway. I guarantee you there isn't. And I'm sure the people who understand here, there's at least Joe, I know Joe's on the board, he understands what I'm talking about, that when you go out there and you see these accidents that happen, and I know you can't prevent everyone, but you can at least try. And that's not asking too much. You don't have to be an expert to look at the numbers. My kid could probably look at the numbers and figure them out for themselves. I'm just saying that when I come up here and complain about this or really voice my concern, I do it as a retired police officer. I'm not out here trying to have an agenda or anything like that. I'm out here saying this because I think the bottom line is when you contract with somebody, you ought to get a day's work for a day's pay, and I don't think that's asking too much. You people ask a lot of questions of people that come here asking for rezoning and people asking for liquor control licenses and all this stuff, but you don't ask any questions here at the Sheriff's Department. It's not going to hurt you if you ask a question. Let them explain why. And it's not community policing. That's not the definition of community policing. So I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive, Lambertville. I'm here, Mr. Supervisor, to address item 3A, the minutes. In all my history here, I don't think anyone has ever commented on the minutes, but I may be the first one. I'm going to read part of comments from the board members where the supervisor said, he mentioned that if residents want to have more input into what the board is doing, they should answer the park board survey or come to a DDA or ARPA committee meeting. I took his invitation to come to the ARPA meeting on December 12th. I thought his invitation was made in good faith to the citizens of the community in spirit of engaging those citizens to participate in the working of the township government, learning how it works, and understanding committee operations. However, much to my chagrin, I was not greeted or welcomed.
Lamar, if you're getting into discussions on
this is in the minutes.
different meetings, no, that's not in the minutes.
I'm talking about
I'm telling you
your
that it's
invitation
agenda
in
item
the-
only. ARPA committee discussions not on
I'm
an
not talking
agenda.
to the ARPA. I'm going on further. I attended the ARPA meeting.
I know, but you're
and I was
going to
not
do a
met
rabbit
with
trail like one other
Mr.
resident does and
Supervisor.
kind of go down that. You have to stick to the agenda items.
I'm not. I am on the agenda item 3A.
Yeah, but you're not sticking to.
3A is an agenda item, Mr. Supervisor.
I'll listen. If you get into a whole
Now-
tirade of how you were treated, that's not an agenda item.
Sure it is.
No, it's not.
You told
I'm
me
gonna,
you
I'm gonna
should
end your comment
participate
time
with
if we
the
can,
board
listen,
committee
you can ask, you can do your
No,
comment on an agenda item, but
I am
if you
on that-
continue down, I'm gonna
on
just
that
gavel
agenda
you.
item. I'm still there. You invited people to participate, and I showed up. I wear this hat because I am entitled.
Lamar, listen. If you can't do an agenda item, your comment time's done. I'm going to treat you
Okay.
just like I did Ms.
You
Keene when
can't
she
interpret
went in.
what an agenda item is.
I'm
or
telling
isn't.
you-
I
I'm
said
telling you
I'm
it's an
here on
agenda
item
item.
3.
Okay, listen, this is your last opportunity to speak to an agenda item, and I'm going to end the comment time for you.
Well, okay.
And that's how it's
I
going to
just
be.
think
I treat
I've
everybody
earned
the same.
Right to attend
You have
any
earned the
public
right, but
meeting
this
that I
says
want. And if
agenda
you don't
items
want
only.
citizens here
No,
to
it's,
participate,
you get to, listen,
put a sign
in
on
the end,
door.
you get 2 minutes, and
So
you can say whatever you want about it.
Next.
Okay, go next. There we go.
I wonder where the assessing department is in its 5-year plan to reassess all of the properties in the township, as generally required by the state treasury. It is necessary in order to keep the tax situation and the the assessed values of all these properties up to date. Now, that's just a comment, but don't expect an answer. I'll find out what the answer is later. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Don't interrupt me while
Lamar,
I'm on an
I'm
agenda
going to
item.
treat you the
Thank
same as I
very
do
much.
everybody else. Have a good night. Okay, next
Enough
comment.
Said. Enough said.
Any more comments? Good try, though.
It's sad that we don't get our rights.
Well, you get 2-minute comment time for anything you want. Go ahead.
I'm Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance, speaking to 8K and L, B, and M if I have time. I could begin with a full truth history of the assessing department from about 2016, but given the season, I'll forego the ugly facts and instead offer a timeline which should allow the board to make an informed decision and validate a denial for 8L. My concerns are not based upon the people, but the process that I see as an abuse of using the title seasonal to avoid board action in hiring staff. February of 2020, Vitale, an assessing administrative assistant, given a pay raise for a level 2, which means she was already level 1. June of 2020, COVID layoffs and COVID unemployment. 2021, February and March, the head assessor refuses a pay raise and resigns. March and April, the township agrees to and hires a firm to oversee the department. Mr. Montry argues point of raise versus cost of firm. The board agrees they must make efforts to staff with licensed people who are experts in the field and begin to make the adjustments for proper pay which would allow us to move away from an outside firm. The firm says they want nothing to do with the politics of the township because that is the board's role. Note, our taxes cover a fee to ensure we are getting qualified staff for this department. The staff should be licensed and ethical in matters of the law and confidential in their dealings with the public. In May, Vitale was named assistant assessor and given a pay raise. In December, Peroni requests seasonal, J. Carey, be made part-time. 15 applications, some with outstanding qualifications, 1 certified. Peroni pulls from the agenda, no discussion. Tonight, 2022, you are being asked to not only make this same person who has been seasonal for 2 years part-time, but give her a title that she isn't, from what I can find, qualified to have. Where is the posting and the list of applicants? What has changed from December of 2021? 2022 to issue 8K. I recall hearing of a posting for assessing, but found no record on the agendas or the minutes of board approval and could find no list of candidates. As the packet states, she was brought in as seasonal and trained by an unlicensed, and I'm saying credentialed by state, person. So hiring is moot. The issue is making her part-time. Her application reveals that she's good with people, so she could do the other job as well, and it would probably do us better to have her be made full-time despite not being certified. Finally, this department mandates full-time staffing that is certified and capable of multitasking year-round. They don't need a secretary. And to be hiring anyone who isn't certified is a breach of the promise that was made by this board back then when you hired the firm. One of these positions needs to be filled by a licensed person. Additionally, this department, under the umbrella of the supervisor's day-to-day oversight answers to the boss, which is the board, and they work for the taxpayers. This department should not be in any debate with supervisors' oversight. Other departments should not be taking staff from one department to do their bidding unless that's part of the job they were hired for. You need to change the handbook, full-time, part-time. Part-time including contract, seasonal, and temporary, and those mandate a time frame. 8K needs to be fully investigated before a decision is made. It should not be done tonight. And given that I have a little bit more time since I see flashing green, I believe that those from the Library Advisory Board who seek reappointment should be allowed. They have done an excellent job of being good stewards of the monies from the library's millage funds. Additionally, I have a question. Do all townships buy the Sheriff's Department their cars for use? And that is it. And I will be back up for 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. Any more comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, moving on to new business, vouchers for payment. Ms. Hirschberger?
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $143,927.91. Fire District Fund, $19,037.62. Fire Equipment, $394,267.03. Downtown Development Authority, $13,387.04. Library Operating Fund, $3,055.42. American Rescue Plan, $22,767.50. Transit System Fund, $105. Township Improvement Revolving, $26,125.40. Building Department, $2,142.71. Sewer O&M, $3,516.75. Trust and Agency Fund, $21,810.65 for a grand total of $650,143.03.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported. Ms. Januzak, discussion?
I have
Mr. Bruni?
one here. We have payment to Bob Miller here, $900 for removal of 6 deer. What are we at paying him now? And didn't we approve like a cap of $2,500 per year?
There was a cap made a few years back. Nothing's ever been talked about a cap since then. I would have to look in the budget to see how much money is still budgeted and what's left.
Okay, that's the only question I had. That's what I noticed.
Yeah, I would just, say if we do get that cap, I mean, we're going to have to, which I never thought that cap to be as part of it. It was something that was discussed. The next year it was part of the capital improvement plan, or not the capital improvement plan, but
The first year we did it, we capped it because we didn't know what was going to happen. Then we just started budgeting for it.
yeah, we didn't
And
have
it's
a
not
cap
been
on it.
spoke about since.
So it just came out of the fund where like the leaf removal came out of, for the different garbage pickup for once a year. It all came out of that.
The community
The
service.
community services fund. And there was no cap on it. If the board wants to cap it, we need to talk about that at budget time. But I mean,
So if and this was before us, but if the board voted to cap it before, wouldn't it continue until
they didn't vote to cap it.
it just,
It was
They
something-
voted to put that much in the budget
In
at
the
that
budget.
time.
That's how much was budgeted that year. And then the next year, we just went out of that fund.
okay.
And we spent a lot more money.
And I know that in the future, it's going to have its own line item, so it can be budgeted separately.
So what we need to do is just say this budget year. I don't know how you could cap that. You know what I mean? In January, we're out of picking up deer. Sorry, the service is over. You know what I mean? It's one of them things. We fund it, and hopefully people are careful out there and don't hit. I mean, a lot of deer get hit, but I don't know how we could cap it at 2,500. We eat through that pretty quick. But
That
okay,
was my question.
all right, we'll talk about a more budget then. Okay, just call the roll.
Hirschberger votes yes. Ms. Janusek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Prony?
Aye, and the motion passed 7-0. Item 8B, appointments to the Library Advisory Board. We have Wendy Steinman, first term ending 12/31/22, and Dee Ellsworth, partial term ending 12/31/22. Wendy Steinman and D. Ellsworth have both sent items to the clerk as per our township policy expressing their interest in being reappointed. Currently, there are no other applications on file. I agree with you, Ms. Keene. They're doing a great job. We might not all agree with what they're doing, but this board's way different. They're doing a great job, and I really think we should reappoint them. So I'll make a motion. We reappoint D. Ellsworth and Wendy Steinman to the Library Advisory Board,
Support.
and that's a 2-year term.
I believe so, yes.
It says 3 according to
that
the
3-year
term?
term.
Okay, yeah, 3-year
So-
term.
Wendy would be a second term. D, since she filled a partial, would be a first term.
First term, yeah. Okay. Okay, we have a motion to support.
I'm
Any more
sorry, who
discussion?
supported?
I did.
Okay.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Proney?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, item 8C, appointments to the Housing Commission. Okay, same thing. We have a first term, Lisa Janos, ending 12/31/22. There are currently 2 openings on the Housing Commission. Lisa Janos has sent the email to the clerk expressing her desire to be reappointed. We currently have no other applications on file. So,
Motion to approve Lisa Janos for a second term, 5-year term on the current Housing Commission.
Support.
okay, motion and support of Mr. Gore. Any discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Proney?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8D, appointment to the Downtown Development Authority. Linda Flick has sent an email to the clerk department per township policy expressing her desire to be reappointed. Currently, there are no other applications on file. So her second term is ending 12/31/22, and these are 4-year terms. So I look for a motion.
I'll make the motion that we appoint or reappoint Ms. Linda Fick for a second term to the Downtown Development Authority. Or is this her third term?
Third term.
Third term.
Second.
I'll support. Or
Okay,
you got to
great.
support? Okay,
Supported
good.
by Mr. Did you
Yeah,
support?
Rick did.
Okay, good.
Thanks. Okay.
Mr.
Supported by
Gore?
Mr.
Aye.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Proney?
Aye, and the motion passed 7-0. Item 8E, appointments to the Board of Review. Okay, this is another board that I'm working on outside of these appointments to get people to apply and show some interest in it. But currently, right now, the Board of Review consists of 3 members and 2 alternates, up to 2 alternates. Benjamin Amos and Ronald Clowen have both submitted letters to the clerk as per township policy expressing their interest in being reappointed. Currently, there are no other applications on file for the Board of Review. So I look for the board to appoint them for another term.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to appoint Mr. Benjamin Amos, Mr. Ronald Kleinow.
You have the same problem I did.
Yep. What is it?
Clowan.
Klawan to the Board of Review.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Bruning. Discussion?
So that means we have 3 open?
Looks like 2 and an alternate.
Okay.
2
the
and an alternate, yeah. So if anybody knows anybody, or send their applications.
It's actually 1 and 2 alternates.
Right. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Jandisek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Proney?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0.
Mr. Supervisor, please remind the people who have been appointed that there's a very short window for them to be sworn in. We had a little controversy over that the last time around, and one of the appointees missed that. opportunity to be sworn in, and by statute, they have to. It's one of the only committees that has that really short window to be sworn in.
Okay. Okay, item 8F, resolution to approve the 2023 budget for operation and maintenance of the Bedford Township sewer system. Mr. Sergo, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Tim Sergo, representing David Thompson, Monroe County Drain Commissioner. I'm here annually to get our O&M budget approved for the operations of the treatment plant and the sewage department for Bedford Township. That's done by the Monroe County Drain Commissioner. The proposed budget for 2023.
Tim, can you pull the mic up?
Okay.
Thank you.
The proposed budget for 2023 looks a little different because there's depreciation of $590,000. The first of two loans that we got from the state of Michigan is now shown on the budget as a depreciation item, but does not affect the revenue for the O&M to be collected and used. So the number that you probably really want to know, that it's about a little under $3,000 difference from last year's budget on a multi-million-dollar, which is 0.6 of 1% increase. So the changes and improvements we've made at the plant are paying dividends with better operating cost. We're fine-tuning the budget, and we'll continue probably over the next couple of years, but some items have went up in cost, some went down, and but the overall is the growth is slowed because so much of the plant is new now and running at a much better optimal condition. It's ironic, we thought we were going to have a huge savings in electricity because we did a lot of improvements to save electricity, and we are using less electricity. Unfortunately, the price of electricity went way up. So, but overall, the budget is in very good shape, and so I would ask that you approve the upcoming budget to continue the operations for the next year.
Anybody have any comments or questions, Mr. Steiner?
So right away, obviously, probably that 590 popped out to everybody, but at least you had the explanation. It's really toward the loan on the sewage system.
Right.
With that said, what are you projecting in the next 3 to 5 for any kind of? I mean, again, you're going to have another depreciation come up with the loan. Any other expansion that we should take into consideration, especially going into the next budget session in 2023, that we should really be thinking about, or should this similar plan be projected into the next fiscal year?
Yeah, next year we have two $10 million loans. The first $10 million loan is in the $590,000 depreciation. It's just a number for the auditors to see. It's we're not collecting extra money or anything for that. And the second loan will kick in. I don't think it's quite $10 million. I don't know the exact number. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but that'll kick in this coming year. And of course, you remember we went and got 2% interest rate from the state of Michigan for the next 20 years, which is like phenomenal now. And back to your initial question, we will see very small increases. We have a little more fine tuning to do, but 1, 2, maybe 2.5, maybe 3% increase in a given year, but we're going to see very small operational increases. When we started down this road in 2017 or 2016, one of the things that we did was because of we were in a position to have a lot of things come into play with interest rates and the right personnel in the right places, we looked at the overall plant. So what we did was every operational item was evaluated and determined what the life expectancy was. And if it had less than a 10-year, we started upgrading and replacing it. So we feel that with the current, we will probably not be back to make any major renovations in 20 years.
That's good, because I know you did quite a bit of work and went through the infiltration of the whole system and everything. That generated a lot of upgrades as well. So obviously, if you're going to keep this budget within that few $1,000s, I mean, you're obviously doing a good job of trying to manage that. But you probably would have beat it if it wasn't for electricity.
Right. Yeah, the other thing that hurt us is the price of chemicals have just went.
I was going to say, anything that has to do with chemicals, petroleum.
And as far as expansion, they have a 90 pipe, Mr. Steiner, that aims across the street. They have the property purchased and are ready to move.
Yeah.
But this whole expansion we just did with the loans, that was to fix everything, to not have to worry about any issues for a long period of time. So
About $25 million worth.
Yeah.
And he did allude that the property across the street came available a few years back, and we did purchase that at a very reasonable price. It is 19 point some acres, and the theory would be, I won't see it, but maybe in 30 years from now, they'll build a whole new plant there and intercept the flow and then decommission the plant where it is now. Because as you all know, that renovating costs so much more than building, because it's like double the cost. We didn't really have a whole lot of option, but we do in the future. And a couple of good reasons. We're in the 500-year floodplain on the south side of Lavoie Road. The north side is out of the floodplain. And the fact that the main sewer is on the north side of the road and crosses over to the south side and comes into the plant, it's right there. So there's a lot of good reasons why that piece of property is like ideal for a future treatment plant, to let Bedford continually grow and have potential for growth.
between water and sewer, the South County water set up, very nice for the next 20, 25 years.
It's good to refresh the question and get your answers, because a lot of the public don't get to hear that a lot of times, and then they think, oh, we got a sewer system, they don't know where we're at, and some people could be surprised, that maybe you forget. You just said 2015, 2016. Well, 6-7 years, that went by fast.
Yeah.
And the next 10 years are going to go by fast, then you're going to really be thinking again about where we go next.
Huh? Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Over here.
Krista.
Janet?
I did have Bob run some numbers. We did budget $2.5 million for the sewer plant. We are going to have to make a budget adjustment for the next 3 payments, because it's going to be short $262,499. So we're going to have to bring a budget adjustment to the board in the future, so we can cover the new amount of the $461,876. That's it.
Okay.
There were projected increases to pay for the loans and everything that was done by a third-party administrator that the state required, like a separate set of eyes. And the township's been following that schedule pretty closely. What we didn't want to happen to the ratepayers is that they're like, boom, they'd have this huge 15-20% increase in their sewer bill. So the increases have been small bites along the way to gentle that blow, especially now that we're probably having a little more harder times with the economy. Is a good thing.
Okay, look for a motion.
Motion to approve the budget resolution for the 2023 budget for operation and maintenance of the Bedford Township sewer system as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported. Ms. Janizek, any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janizek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8G, Senior Citizen Tax Penalty Waiver Resolution. Ms. Hirschberger?
That's me.
No,
Oh,
that's
Ms.
her.
Janizek, I'm sorry.
This is a resolution that the Township Board has approved yearly to authorize the imposition of 3% late penalty on all property taxes paid after February 14th. Would be the 2023 this year, as well as waive the 3% penalty for the homestead property of a senior citizen, paraplegic, quadriplegic, eligible service person, eligible veteran, eligible widow, totally permanently disabled person, blind person, if the property owner files a 1040 CR form known as the Michigan Homestead Property Tax Credit Claim with the state, and they're receiving funds back from the state using this form. So I'm just looking to...
Any questions, comments? Okay, I look for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the 2022 tax penalty resolution, senior citizen tax penalty waiver resolution.
Support.
Okay, motion and support of Mr. Bruning. Discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8H, Monroe County Road Commission contract for dust control. Anybody have any questions on this? This is not something we do every year. We have changed to calcium chloride a few years ago, and it's worked a lot better with this calcium chloride. It's just a treatment that we don't have to do as a township, but we do as a service to anybody that lives on a dirt road to keep the dust down. I don't know if anybody's ever lived on a dirt road, but when it's dry and somebody's doing 45 mile an hour down the road, it'll dust your house. It's awful. So I look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Monroe County Road Commission contract for dust control for the amount of $48,850 as permitted.
Support.
Okay, motion and support of Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Item 8I, resolution to approve amendment number 4 to the Bedford Township Retiree Health Reimbursement Arrangement Plan. Ms. Hirschberger?
So this amendment is coming because it was brought to our attention that our current retiree health plan was not in compliance, and we needed to change it to make sure that we were in compliance. So that's all that number 4. I don't know if Mr.
That's well stated, Trudy. What it's not is an attempt to remove vested benefits on our retirees that qualify for benefits. What it is required by law by the United States Department of Health and Human Services, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We have to be compliant in our health plan for our retirees and for our employees, and this proposed amendment number 4 brings us into compliance.
I just want to make sure that our retirees won't lose any benefit.
They are going to lose the benefit that paid for their prescription drugs because that's the part that's not in compliant.
Was
We
that
cannot do that.
Was that a contractual thing that they bargained?
There's no contract. This is just an arrangement that we have, and we thought that it was compliance to do that and found out that it is not.
It wasn't part of a collective bargaining agreement. It was a plan that was put in place that when it was put in place was allowable, but it's no longer allowable. It was brought to our attention by our plan administrator. You'll see in the amendment number 4 that Trudy and I prepared what benefits have been eliminated and what benefits are available. There's still reimbursement available, as you can see in the second paragraph there, under what benefits are available. So it wasn't a collective bargaining agreement where those benefits have been taken away contrary to the agreement. It was a plan, but that plan was always subject to change, and we have no alternative. We have to comply with Medicare.
And I can tell you that I personally called each one of them, and they all understood and knew that this was coming to our agenda tonight.
Okay.
Any more questions, comments? Okay, we look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 4th Amendment to the Bedford Township Retiree Health Reimbursement Arrangement as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion and support of Mr. Bruning. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
No.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 6-1. Item 8J, approval to transition a seasonal employee to part-time in the Treasurer's Department. Ms. Janasek?
Yes, I'm asking the board to approve moving my seasonal employee, Mrs. Blake, from seasonal to part-time. Before COVID, the Treasurer's Department, we had four full-time employees. myself, a deputy treasurer, administrative assistant, and a utilities clerk, and 1 seasonal employee. We currently have 3 full-time employees right now, myself, a deputy treasurer, and a utilities clerk, and 1 seasonal employee. There is a need in my department for additional help, as I have an employee that has 5 weeks vacation, sick time, and another who has sick time and vacation as well. Each department at some point in time trickles into the treasurer's department for some sort of payment, whether it's a building permit or it's planning fees, passports, etc. We have also seen an increase of residents coming to pay their water bills, as South County Water can no longer accept cash for their transactions. That is per their auditor. That is not their choice. We have 3 points of contact: the drive-up window, the front counter, and our phones. There have been many days that myself, my deputy, we don't take lunches because we're too busy in the department. And if someone's sick or on vacation, it's even worse. I'm requesting to move my seasonal employee effective February 1st, 2023. I interviewed for this department or position. I posted on our website. The applicant before, our current seasonal employee, did not want the position due to already taking a job. I am requesting that the pay be the part-time rate of $16.01, which would be effective February 1st. I have got the number from Mr. Miller. She's been employed with the Treasurer's Department since August of 2022. She's an asset to my department. Is currently working anywhere from 25 to 30 hours a week as a seasonal employee, demonstrating the need for the part-time position. If approved, her hours would stay the same, 25 to 30 hours a week.
Okay, comments, questions from board members?
They do.
Mr. Bruning?
So was the job posted, and if you received any other applicants, why aren't they in the packet?
It was posted on the website, and I just put hers in there. I didn't realize I forgot to put the other one in. That's my fault.
But she didn't want it.
But she didn't want the job anyways.
Turned it down when
She
we
turned it
called
down.
her.
When I called her to ask her to come in for an interview, she said no, that she had already taken a full-time job, that she just decided she didn't want seasonal or part-time anymore.
And she did follow getting with the personnel committee.
Yes, I did.
So your seasonal person goes away, and this just replaces
Correct.
for it.
That is correct.
What
And I
was
do have the money in the budget. I did check with Mr. Miller. I do have the funds to do that.
Okay, I look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Mrs. Blake from seasonal to part-time as of February 1st, 2023, at the part-time pay rate starting February 1st of $16.01.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and support of Ms. Hirschberger. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
No.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Peroni?
Aye, the motion passed 6-1. Item 8J, approval to transition a seasonal employee. Oh, I'm sorry. Item 8K, approval to replace the part-time employee in the assessing department. Okay. So, as you all know, Pete Carey did resign. Part of the reason for that was Pete and Joan are obviously married, and the personnel committee did not want a husband and wife working in the same department due to the fact with vacations, being sick, potentially you could have both people gone for those things. So we transitioned into Pete eventually decided he would resign, and so we did go through an application process and interviewed multiple people. I don't know why the applications aren't in here. Typically, they're just placed in here by the clerk's department. I've never requested them or asked for them, so they've always been attached to the packets. But we did interviews, and decided she's a great fit. She wants to learn the trade more and get her and Tony in the assessing department's requiring all of them go get their level 1 to start. So she wants to move up in it and work it. So, and she's been trained by Pete for the last, I don't know, few months. She's been seasonal. So, comments, questions?
Same for you, Paul, as I had for Krista. Was the job posted? And the other applicants that applied, why aren't they in our packets? We used to get them. We used to get all.
Yeah, and
applicants.
I never asked them
And
to be in there.
I mean, I'm just telling you right now, on all these, I'm going to say no on all of them because you're not following the.
Yep.
what we
Like I
used to.
said, they've always been just put in by the clerk's department. I don't know. I never asked for them to be attached, and they were always attached. All the applicants.
I don't even know who else applied. That
Yeah.
was a while ago.
I just so it's fair for the residents, so the residents know it's not just like hooking up your buddies that are already there. I can't say who else applied. I can't say whether the job was posted because all I have is this and we're going to hire this person and I'm not going to support it.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
This says several people were interviewed. I mean, several is 2, 3, 10.
I think there were 5.
Okay. And she's only been here since October?
Correct. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve to move Rachel Taranjo from seasonal to part-time in the assessing department, effective immediately with the pay rate at $15.70 per hour and working up to 30 hours per week.
Support.
Okay, motion in support of Mr. Gore. Any more discussion? Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Steiner?
No.
Mr. Bruning?
No.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, and the motion passed 5-2. Okay, item 8. L, approval to move a seasonal employee to part-time in the assessing department. This is position's been part-time for as long as I can remember. Kelly Elmer was in this position, and when she left, we went through the same process as we always do. Look for somebody to get involved, posted it, talked to the personnel committee, and brought it, and ended up bringing her in. And then same process when we went through, so same deal. She's been at the job for quite some time, though. I think, Trudy, over a year now, right? Close to it.
I would say yes.
Yeah, so she's learned the job very well and has a really good understanding of it, and she's an asset. And I disagree with a lot of what Ms. Keene said. We definitely need somebody that she doesn't just answer phones. And also Tony recommended bringing her on. So I'll make
Who recommended bringing her on?
Mr. Menard, the head of Maynard, the assessor that we hired
Okay.
to run the department. The company, the firm, he also recommended.
It's on the back
last
of this
one.
first page, Joe.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move Joan Carey from seasonal to part-time in the assessing department, effective immediately with the pay rate at $15.70 per hour and working up to 30 hours per week.
Support.
Okay, motion supportive of Mr. Montroy. Any more discussion?
Same question, Paul. Was this job posted?
Yes.
Okay. And again, does anyone who else applied? Again, we only have.
It was, this one I can say was posted for seasonal.
Okay.
And it's been so long that those applications are gone.
Okay.
She's been there for too long. We don't keep applications that long. If they're not considered, then they're moved to a different location. Out of the file, hers would have been filed away, and then those applications are destroyed after so long.
So, but for this, job, which
So
is
no,
a new
so
job.
this-
so
no.
No, this is,
No.
So nothing was posted for this job.
Not for her to move from this to this. Somebody's been in a job
No,
doing
she's
a
been
good
in there
job
for
for
that
a year and
long.
a half and has learned it. Why would we post it and replace her with somebody that knows nothing?
and that's why Tony asked to keep her, because she's already been trained for the position. She already knows the position, and he would like to keep her there.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
My same.
okay, we
Is
have-
she a level 1?
No, she's going to get
Okay.
it though. So,
So there is room for her to get like level 1
Oh, yeah.
and all that, and
Yeah.
they're going to help her
Mhm.
achieve that.
I made a motion, right?
Yes.
We
I have a
support.
motion and
Motion and support?
Yeah.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Peroni,
Aye.
Mr. Montry,
Aye.
Mr. Bruning,
Nope.
Mr. Steiner,
No.
Mr. Gore,
Aye.
Ms. Janusik,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye.
Okay, and the motion passed 5-2. Okay, moving on to 8M, approval to purchase a 2023 Chevy Tahoe for the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. We have the money budgeted. The sheriff is ordering 5, and it was a perfect timing to get one of ours in. We have 3 vehicles in the 60,000-mile range. So ordinance department needs a vehicle. So it works out great to get a vehicle before it's trashed and has 150,000 miles on it because they're no good to get them at that point. So we would take that vehicle and put it right into the ordinance department. So I look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a 2023 Chevy Tahoe for the Monroe County Sheriff's Department.
Support.
Okay, motion is supported by Mr. Bruning. Do we need the
Put
amount in there?
title in there?
Do we want to put the?
Yeah, the amount. Phil?
42.
All right. Cost per vehicle was $42,022.00.
Still support.
Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Gore,
Aye.
Mr. Bruning,
Aye.
Mr. Montry,
Aye.
Mr. Steiner,
Aye.
Ms. Janusik,
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Peroni.
Aye, the motion passed 7-0. Okay, number 9, comments from the public. Comments limited to 2 minutes for anything you want to talk about.
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive. This time I will talk about what happened at the ARPA meeting, and it was quite enlightening. I saw the list of projects that are being considered, and also the project list, the way it was put together, and I noted that a number of the suggestions made by Mr. Steiner were included. I'm just wondering if it would not be appropriate to put that list on the website. You're asking for folks to participate. You're asking for folks to have input. They can then follow how the projects are going, if any, who's being served, who isn't being served. I'm just thinking maybe it ought to be on the website. That way you can see when it starts, what you spent, those sort of things. Secondly, I want to wish everybody happy holidays, and may your families all be secure and warm, because it's going to be cold.
You can say Merry Christmas, Lamar.
And lastly, and I had this fight for 8 years as supervisor, you guys are playing with yourself when you talk about seasonal, part-time, temporary, full-time. They are all employees of the board. They are all at-will employees. Somebody said, well, I don't have to go to the board if it's a seasonal. I don't have to do this if it's part-time or it's temporary. They're all employees of the board. So think of it that way, not whether they're seasonal, because some seasonal people have been here for 2 years, so it's a long season. Again, happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any more comments?
Good evening, 1308 Brandywine Street, Logan, Tisdale. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I don't know if you've ever been
Thanks,
away.
Logan.
I don't think you've ever been away for Christmas, but if you've been in the military, you know that there are people that are serving overseas. They spent 2 years overseas and missed Christmas. That's not easy, and a lot of people work on Christmas Day. So I would hope that we would remember that when we sit down with our families this year and kind of take a special effort to do that. I would also ask that we would pray for Devin Kocher. He was a state trooper that was shot up in Detroit here about a month and a half ago and stuff. I know they're doing a benefit for him. I think it's January 21st at the Expo Center. I believe you could probably find that online if you're interested in going. I think it's adults for $50. I think if you're children under 17 and under is $25. I know I went to the Crystal Palace when I had one up there. There was a huge support for the family and for the police department. When people think that police officers are not respected, you need to come to one of these. The outpouring of support and just the the love and camaraderie that I experienced there from many different departments, many different organizations. It really was breathtaking. So if you're looking at that, I think you can find it online. I think it probably is posted somewhere. I believe it's the 21st of January at the Expo Center up there at the fairgrounds. $50 is pretty nice. The food that we had at the Crystal Palace was wonderful, and the companionship was great. I think the community needs to support police officers in general, but I think this is an opportunity to do something that somebody sacrificed so much for us. So God bless you and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you for your comments. Any more comments?
Gail Kane, 1056 West Temperance. I would like to, for Mr. Tisdale's comments, there's another dangerous intersection, and that's at Temperance and Lewis. The markings are not appropriate for that area, and I continue to ask the Road Commission to readjust that and remark that. The other issue is that I was stopped from speaking to an agenda item. It wasn't the minutes. And to this day, I hold what I was going to say, and I share with people when they ask, because I was not allowed to give a foundation for what my comments were. Just as I did tonight, there's reasons why those people should not have been hired. The one girl should be made full-time, not part-time. She is literally trained in the field for going out. The other one is not trained to go out into the field. She answers the phones, and she types things in. That could be done by Rachel if she was allowed to be full-time. You people made a promise to the taxpayers of this community. Mr. Montright argued vehemently that night about people and the pay and the whatever, and you promised that you would move away. You have not done that. You have put somebody in there who was seasonal for 2 years time frame. 2 years. And her age would probably say she's not going to further her education in this field. And you made that promise to the people. And tonight you failed the people again, those of you that voted in agreement of this. And as far as Lamar's issues, he did have issues. He went to that meeting. He's been to 2 of them. I witnessed how he was treated at the one meeting, and it was deplorable. We only need 3,738 signatures to put a recall on the ballot, and I think it needs to be seriously considered. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Have a Merry Christmas. Anybody else have any comments? Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. Comments from Township Board members. Mr. Steiner?
As we all know, there's a snowstorm coming. Be safe out there. Be courteous if you have to drive. If you don't have to drive and don't have to be out, stay off the roads because it's going to be ugly out there. If you have to be out and there's safety and emergency equipment out there, get out of the way, because that means somebody's probably either hurt or having a health issue, and they take priority. Last but not least, everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or Happy Holidays, however you decide to celebrate over the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Mr. Montre?
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Gore?
Yep. Merry Christmas. Same as what Rick said, just drive safely, travel safely over the next few days.
Mr. Bruni?
All right, just to remind everybody, they're going to be doing recycling your Christmas trees at Car Park if you need to drop them off after Christmas. No ornaments and no lights on them, but you can dump them off there back at Car Park like they do every year. Same thing, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to include everybody, but the main season is Christmas. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and go blue.
Okay. Ms. Januzak?
Everyone have a safe and Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Okay. Ms. Hirschberger?
I want to start off letting everyone know that Saturday the 17th, we held the Wreaths Across America. It was a nice ceremony again. I just wish we could get more residents out there, maybe get some board members out there. But it was very nice. We will be hopefully having a fundraiser over the summer so that we can buy more wreaths and have more of our memorials for our veterans have wreaths on them. I want to remind the residents that the Township Hall will be closed Friday, December 23rd, Monday, December 26th, and Friday, December 30th, and Monday, January 2nd, to observe both holidays. I want to wish my grandson Elijah a happy 9th birthday, and wish all the residents and my fellow board members Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a safe New Year.
Okay. I want to thank the board for hiring Joan and Rachel. They are assets to the department, and I can tell you this, that department runs absolutely smooth. There's no issues. Not one board member on this board probably has received a complaint in a long time, right? Not one? No complaints, because they're doing their job. They're working hard. They show up every day. They're professional, and I'm super thankful for them. Blizzard Fest, if you were able to come out to Blizzard Fest at Compelled Church, it was an amazing turnout. Just a lot of people had a lot of fun. We'll be making it even better next year, so I'm excited to continue to work on that committee with some amazing residents. What a great story that is, though, just by people talking about something on social media, and I call them into the office, and a committee and a festival has been on for 5 years. Same thing. That's kind of how the... All right. You thought you didn't have anything else to say. Is that you talking or the phone? Okay. Oh, it's still going. All right. You can walk away if you want to go. All right. Okay. All right. Moving on. So that's the same thing with kind of how the farmers market got started. But I do want to give a special thanks to Carol, Lori, and Trudy for stepping up, and for Al, my deputy. They are working their butts off on the Spark Grant. Trudy wasn't even asked. She just offered her services. So that's what we need to do in this township hall, and that's what we've been doing for a while now, and it's been very nice. But I'm hopeful we get the grant. I wish the park board would have hired Manigan Smith to write the grant, because they're very successful with them, but I'm very hopeful they'll get it, because they've worked very hard on it, and I'm thankful that we're working together. I also want to give a thanks that never gets a thanks to Leonard Graham and Goldsmith. Our legal team, people have no idea what they do behind the scenes and how much they protect this community from so many things. They never get a thank you. And I can't tell you, and I'm sure Trudy and Krista would be able to say, because a lot of people don't know what goes on with our legal team, but you guys have done an amazing job, and you continue to protect this community. I'm fine. A lot of people could walk in here and know that our legal team has our backs, because they have a lot of history in this county and this government. So I'm very thankful for them. It's been said with weather, don't need to preach to you and tell you to be safe. Obviously, we need to be precautious with, the snow, but I oversee the plowing, and a lot of issues happen every year with cars being parked on the road. People double park in the neighborhood roads next to each other on both sides. We cannot get a 9-foot blade usually in between. It's very tight. If you see cars like that, knock on a neighbor's door, ask them to move it before Friday. If cars are too tight, we're going to stop and back up and keep going. We're not going to damage somebody's vehicle. So please, any basketball hoops that are in the roads, a lot of people in neighborhoods put their basketball hoops in the roads. Move them. Get them off the roads for the season. They shouldn't be there anyways. And sidewalks. Get them off the sidewalks so people can shovel their sidewalks. But we have to get 5 inches close to it to be able to pull a trigger. Now, I don't know if there's going to be 5 inches going to happen, and we just got to use an educated guess. It's very difficult leading up to Friday whether or not to hire 10 people to go out there and plow for 10 hours or 8 hours. But they're all lined up right now. I have everybody ready to go. Our maintenance department's got all the plows ready. So just waiting to kind of see what happens. The bids are in for the controls. We had 4 bids come in. The clerk's department opened them with, however you do it, the sealed bids professionally. We did have 1 bid that was extremely low and off, so we're going to take a look at them and bring it to the board as soon as we get it prepared. The chiller has been installed at the library, which is great news. We're going to see a decent savings with that, and we're going to see a decent savings with the controls here at the township. thank the Lord that we replaced all of our buildings with LED lights when we did 3-4 years ago, because with the prices that have pretty much doubled, our light bills would be very high. So we're actually, like Mr. Circle said, kind of keeping them lower by what we've done. The ladder truck is coming back into service as of today. I'm very thankful for that. It's the board members. I don't know if you know, but it was stuck in somebody's front yard, and the tow company pulled it out and kind of wrecked some stuff. So the insurance company covered it. Now the insurance company is going to be going after the tow company for that, but they are covered, and so we're back with our truck. We are continuing to look, and I need to continue to work with the fire department on Station 3, their parking lot in the rear. It's a mess. It's that ladder truck is tore up. They tried to patch it a couple years ago, and it just has slid the parking lot. We're trying to work with the fire department and the road commission on figuring out a way to stop that fire truck on Lewis Avenue and back it into the bay. The fire department's not really too keen on that, but we're trying to figure out a way to do that so we don't have to take the truck around back and do a circle to come in. That's on them hot summer days is what tearing the parking lot up. That parking lot was never built for 100-something thousand pound truck to do a U-turn on it. So what we're going to end up having to do if we can't get something done with the road commission is probably concrete a lot of it and back, which is going to be very expensive. So we never approved anything.
No, nothing's approved for that.
We talk about a lot of
It was an idea.
Yeah, no, we well, we're getting I had our engineering firm look at it, to give us a professional opinion of what needs to be done. But we do need to move forward on that, because this winter it's only going to get worse, because now you have the freeze thaw, and that all them cracks in that parking lot is not going to be good. So we definitely have to address it this spring. Obviously, we can't do it this time of the year, but continue turning in your applications. I'm hoping to get somebody for the planning commission and some of the other openings that we have on the next meeting. Hopefully, if we have enough applications and have time for that. But other than that, everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you, board, for a year where we were able to accomplish a lot. This is our last board meeting this year. I'd be the first to say we don't always get along, and we've had some embarrassing meetings, but I can hope next year we can turn it around and really work for the community, because that's what we're elected to do, is get a lot of stuff done and do the best we can. So I appreciate everybody and hope you have a great night. I look for motion to adjourn. Adjourned.